I never thought I'd hear the words my wife spoke just 3 months after our wedding. I'm already sick of marriage, she said, her tone sharp and dismissive, as if our vows had been some passing trend she was already bored of. My name is Daniel, and I thought I had found the woman who would stand by me through thick and thin. Instead, I was staring at someone who treated our marriage like a burden she couldn't wait to shake off. Her name is Emily. We met 2 years ago at a mutual friend's birthday party. She was captivating, smart, lively, the kind of woman who could walk into a room and make everyone feel like the evening revolved around her. I was quieter, more grounded, but she said that's what she liked about me. We fell into a whirlwind romance that had everyone saying we were perfect for each other. The early days of marriage were sweet, or so I thought. I cooked her breakfast before work, left notes in her bag, and even surprised her with little weekend trips. But as quickly as the honeymoon glow came, it vanished. Emily began rolling her eyes at my gestures, calling me too much, when I tried to make her smile. The woman who once said she loved my steadiness now mocked it, claiming I was predictable and boring. One evening, after I made dinner and set the table with candles, trying to recapture the spark, we sat in silence. She scrolled on her phone while I tried to start a conversation. That's when she dropped the words that cut me open. I'm already sick of marriage. I stared at her, unable to process what I had just heard. What do you mean? I asked, my voice trembling. She didn't even look up from her phone. It's just not fun anymore. I don't want to be tied down. I thought this would feel different. Her indifference was worse than anger. It was as if our marriage meant nothing to her. As if the vows we exchanged had already expired. My chest tightened, my heart pounding with a mixture of shock and rage. I had given her my love, my trust, my commitment. Yet she spoke about our marriage as though it were a job she wanted to quit. That night, I lay awake replaying every moment of our relationship, searching for signs I might have missed. And slowly, a chilling realization settled in. Emily hadn't changed overnight. This was who she truly was, and I had been too blinded by love to see it. The morning after her confession, I walked into the kitchen to find Emily sipping coffee, scrolling through her phone like nothing had happened. She didn't acknowledge me, didn't even bother to smile. For a moment, I wondered if I had imagined the whole thing. But then she looked up, sighed, and said, Daniel, don't look at me like that. I told you the truth. I'm not happy, and I don't see why I should fake it. Her words weren't just blunt, they were cruel. There was no attempt to work through things, no effort to save what we had built. It was as if she had already checked out, and I was the only one still standing in the wreckage of what was supposed to be our forever. I spent the next few days quietly observing her. She stayed out late more often, claiming she was just with friends. When I asked why she didn't want me to come along, she snapped, because I need space, Daniel. Being married doesn't mean I have to be chained to you. I started to see it clearly then. Emily wasn't sick of marriage itself. She was sick of being married to me. And instead of being honest, she threw daggers disguised as truths, hoping I'd be the one to end it so she wouldn't have to bear the guilt. But here's the thing about me. I may be calm, but I'm not a fool. If she thought I would sit there, begging her to stay, she was mistaken. Each cruel remark she made, each dismissive glance, only hardened me. I was done being the man she looked down on. One evening, I returned home early. She hadn't expected me. As I opened the door, I heard her laughter from the living room. She was on the phone telling someone, honestly, I don't know how much longer I can do this. Daniel's nice, but he's just dull. Marriage was supposed to be exciting, not suffocating. I froze in the hallway, her words echoing in my chest like a hammer striking stone. That was the moment the last thread of hope snapped. She didn't just think it, she said it out loud, to someone else, like our marriage was a joke. I walked into the bedroom, opened the closet, and stared at her neatly hung clothes. For the first time since this nightmare began, I didn't feel anger or sadness. I felt clarity. If Emily was already sick of marriage, then I would make it easy for her. I grabbed a suitcase, pulled her things from the hangers, and started packing. By the time Emily came back that night, her suitcase was waiting by the door. She walked in with that same careless smile she always wore when she thought she had the upper hand. But when her eyes fell on the packed bag, the color drained from her face. "What's this?" she asked, forcing a laugh. I stood calmly, my hands in my pockets. You said you were sick of marriage, Emily. I listened. And now, I'm giving you exactly what you wanted, your freedom. Her smile faltered, replaced by a look of shock. Wait, Daniel, I didn't mean it like that. I was just frustrated. You're overreacting. I shook my head. No, Emily. I heard you loud and clear. Not just once. Every dismissive glance, every cruel word, every late night out. You've been telling me all along. I just refused to hear it. But not anymore. She stepped closer, her voice suddenly soft. So what, you're just going to throw everything away? After all we've been through? I almost laughed at the hypocrisy. After all we've been through? She was the one who treated our marriage like an inconvenience, like a cage she needed to escape. I had poured myself into making her happy, but she couldn't even be bothered to respect what we had. I'm not throwing anything away, I said, my voice steady. You already did. I'm just finishing what you started. For a moment, she stood frozen, caught between anger and desperation. Finally she scoffed, fine. If that's how you want it, then goodbye. She grabbed the suitcase, yanked it toward the door, and slammed it shut behind her. The silence that followed was heavy, but for the first time in months, it wasn't suffocating, it was liberating. I sat down on the couch, my heart pounding, and realized I felt lighter. She had tried to break me with her indifference, but all she did was free me from someone who never truly valued me. The next morning, I woke up to a quiet house. No tension. No sighs of annoyance. Just peace. I made coffee, opened the window, and let the fresh air in. For the first time in a long while, I could breathe. Looking back, I don't regret it. Sometimes, the harshest words become the clearest truths. Emily said she was sick of marriage, and in the end, she was right. She was sick of being my wife, and I was done begging someone to love me. Goodbye wasn't just for her. It was for me too. Goodbye to the man who tolerated her cruelty. Goodbye to the marriage that was never real. And hello to a future where I finally chose myself.